Welcome to Created Healthy. I'm Dawn Combs. It's a common idea that God gave us everything we need in nature, but do we believe it enough to walk that out in truth? Often the very same people who say this go looking for answers on how to use food and medicine from man-made sources. Everything man creates comes with a user's manual. Why would God be any different? I challenge you to join me in seeking revelation about our body, mind, soul, and spirit health by digging into His written word and in practicing pure science in the visible world of His creation. Welcome back. Today is another emotional health day. We are jumping out of Leviticus and over into Psalms 4 through 6. And in this passage, I'm watching David use the same sort of formula that God used over and over again with the Israelites, with Moses, in telling the story again and again of what God did for the Israelites. Remember, I did this. This is an oral culture where stories get passed down again and again through speaking or song, and people would travel around from community to community repeating these stories and entrenching these things into memory. Long before we had the Bible written down, these were talked. It was history that was shared orally. And so there's a formula there where God is repeating, hey, I am the God who brought you out of chains in Egypt. I am the God who gave you the 10 Commandments. I'm the God of Abraham. I'm the God of Isaac. All of these things are continually entrenching what God has done for people before He reminds them about what He's about to do. And David adopts this too in a claiming of. So I see David continually saying, God, you are the God of Abraham. You did this for me. You are our shield. You are the God who calls Israel to be set aside, set apart. You are the God who actually listens and answers them. That is part of what makes Israel so special at this time, is that not only were they speaking to a God and having a relationship, but that God answered them and answered only them. And the rest of the world was out worshiping Moloch or Baal or whoever else in the neighborhood and sacrificing their children and doing a lot of other occult type practices that were trying to elicit a response from some God somewhere. And Israel is separate. It is holy. It is set apart, and these people are able to talk to and hear God. And so David is claiming this very special dispensation, and he talks about how God gives more joy, more peace, and more rest for those that are part of this special relationship than anyone who harvests abundantly of what is in the world, who thinks themselves so lucky because they've got piles of coin or grain. Truthfully, there is nothing else. It is just worthless, and it's meant to deceive them and send them down the wrong path. But following in this relationship gives peace, joy, and rest. And he goes on in these chapters. It is 3. He is struggling. He's praising God with all the things that he knows to be true and claiming that truth and that peace and that joy. And he goes on then to cry, to talk about how he's sorry, but he's depressed. He apologizes. I'm sorry to say this. I believe in you. I believe in all the powerful things that you can do, have done, and will do. But I am really struggling, and I am lost, and I'm losing my hope and my fortitude in the face of how long it's taking you to answer me. I'm being chased. I'm in trouble, and I really need you to help me out. He He admits to crying himself to sleep. His tears are soaking his cot at night. But here he claims God's answer even while he's frustrated and the answer hasn't come yet. And I think that this is an important part of remaining mentally and emotionally healthy, is this anchor. So many people today don't have that anchor. They don't have their identity in this holy people that are set apart, that have the ability to converse with God and have the ability to hear back from God. And there is a hope in that. If you repeat all of the times in your life when you are in despair, if you repeat all of the times in your life that God has been there for you, that you can see where he was using a bad situation for good, it turned out well in the end, you didn't understand it. If you can name all of the miracles just in your own life, but let alone if you can go back through the Bible and name all of the amazing miracles, you are standing in a place of hope because you're claiming a lineage in a special people, in a favored people that God will answer and does count the hairs of the head, all the hairs on your head, and finds you so precious. Standing in hope and waiting for an answer, even while admitting despair. We can't bury it. We can't not admit it. And God doesn't ask us to. We are not a people that is supposed to just, oh, God will take care of it and everything's great. And when somebody asks you how you're doing, oh, the sun is shining and things are wonderful. God asks for our honesty. He wants a real relationship. And David is such a good example of how he cares for his mental and emotional health by leaning into God and crying out, sometimes being angry with God, just like you would with a parent. Sometimes you can be angry. Sometimes you can be distraught and feel as though your faith is slipping, or your trust, or your respect. And naming all of those things that you know to be true anchors our mental and emotional health, and it is all the difference. I hope that God is blessing you today and keeping you mentally and emotionally well, even in times when you are most tested and when you feel the most alone. Anchoring. I hope that you remember to anchor yourself in truth and know that you are not alone and that you are only waiting for the answer that you will get. I pray that God brings you back again to explore His Word and His creation with me again tomorrow. Thanks for listening. If you enjoyed this episode, please subscribe and share with a friend. And I'm always interested in hearing what God is laying on your heart. So drop me a rating or review, or join the conversation on Facebook, Instagram, or YouTube at Dawn Combs Really.